What's up, guys? I'm gonna be going over today's trade recap. Couple trades today, so I'm gonna hop right into it. The first day trade we took was in Goldman Sachs here, and this was a really clean setup. So if you look at the daily chart, this was on my radar yesterday, but I guess it just wasn't ready. Let's get to it here. So this is the daily chart, and so it had this pretty nice move up, the last couple months, and then it had this pretty extended and quick, down move here from the high here. It was at 378 and then it hit the lows of 342. So it's about a 10% drop in just about 4 or 5 days here. So, I was looking for some type of bounce play here. And as you can see, it kind of was basing here on the daily. And I had a level of interest at 348.4, right? So looking at that, I saw that we basically basically opened right under it, tested higher and failed. So I knew I wanted to see some type of movement above. And so I'll tell you, I took the entry on the 2-minute candle right here. I took that 2-minute candle because, as you saw, we slightly closed above this level, and once this 2-minute candle closed, I took entry, and then it kind of was a little funky because of the spread, so we did have like a tiny little gap up there in the 2. If you look at the 5, it looks a little better here. Here's the 5 basically, and we kind of just went straight up, and we took some profit up in this region here, kind of retraced a little bit, took some more profit here, and my next target was somewhere in this 351.5 zone. Didn't quite get that push, and then we stopped out around here. But ultimately at the highs here, we were up like 50-60% somewhere in there. We took the 350 calls down in here, and we got about a 1% move, so that was pretty nice. So that was that, and then we took a couple scalps in ES today. I'll go over those quickly. So the first one's actually a super quick trade. So I took an entry here off this 38.8625 level. I took a short, and we rejected down and got all the way to as low as 38.8120. Yeah, basically 38.81. So I was able to take that 5-point trim before ultimately we just kind of reversed, and I got stopped back out. So it was really fast, a little scalp, nonetheless did the job. And then I took some scalps around this zone in here. One I basically stopped out at break even, and I took another trade. If I can see where correctly, I believe I took it somewhere in this region here, and then I got stopped out up here before ultimately it dumping down somewhere in this region there. So a couple of scalps in the day, nothing too crazy there. And the last trade we took was in Baba, and I actually stopped out of this trade, and I'll show you why I took it, show you why I stopped. So we ended up taking on Friday, we took this week 85 puts here. Right, so we took it at like 87.5, somewhere around here. Towards the close, they went up 15% on Friday. Then we ended up gapping up, and then down here, we were still slightly down. Then, we gapped down. We actually tested higher, but then we came back lower. And at this point here, we were slightly up and break even, so I decided at break even to close them. I decided to close the weekly 85s and roll them into next week 84s because it actually still looked good for continuation. But I knew we needed some more time, and luckily I did, because if I didn't have next week's, they would have been hurt pretty bad, right? So we did take like a 40-45% loss on this, which is not, really what I want to take. But, from our entry around 85, I think our entry was around like 85.7. We did have a nice move. And the reason why I closed it more than anything is because we actually broke above yesterday's high. So hypothetically, we should have stayed underneath yesterday's high. And could we still dump? Sure. But at this point, I can't be holding on to this trade because now we do have upside. So just to give you an idea, right? If you're ever in doubt, invert the scale, invert the chart, right? So how did this look? This kind of looked like a bull flag and a breakout, right? So the fact that we actually gapped down, aka gapped up, we should have stayed under, in at very least in the midst of this, the width of this bar here. But we actually broke below it, and so this is too deep of a breakout. And like I said, could we end up going like this? Sure. But I would look to take another entry. But at the same time, we could have a little bit deeper retracement down to here, and that's not something I want to hold on to right now, because at that point, our strike would be too far out the money, and then, it just would be a disaster trying to hold. So, if anything, I would like to see maybe a move up to, maybe this region up in here towards like 89, 90, and then maybe have a failure to go higher, and then we take a short that way with the stop up there, right? We always have to adjust our stop, adjust our plays. And if, if the trade does hit and we eventually do, test either this gap here or this massive gap in here, either of these trades will be over 100% and 2-3x the loss that we did take on this trade. So yeah, that was pretty much the trades for today, and we're gonna see what looks good for tomorrow. So catch you guys then. Bye.